pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. Does anyone have questions of minutes, warrants? No questions. Then do you want to give a rundown of what we do with warrants? What they are, and just kind of what warrants are.
So warrants, also known as claims, also known as checks and bills. So we get them that come in through the month. They'll go to the board when the packet comes out. That's the preliminary, because we'll always get some more within a week. At any time you have any questions, please let me know. And then right before the board meeting, usually on Monday, I'll do the final and I'll email that final one out as well. So in December, May and June are your big months. December, we're paying the first half of tuition for the district kiddos. And then May and June, we're paying the second half of tuition plus year-end spending monies, wish list, must have, year-end ordering. And so that's how those work.
I'm going to have a lot of questions before it's all over. Could you explain tuition to me? What are we doing there?
So a few years ago, it used to be kids can come to Kyla. Kyla kids could go to Smith Valley, and all they had to do was be approved. Nobody charged tuition. And then 2 years ago, they changed the law that said, some of the taxpayers saying Kyla said, we're paying our tax dollars for kiddos that aren't in our district. And then you also had parents who were coming here who couldn't vote on our issues because they weren't in the Kyla school district. So what they did is they revamped the formula. They said, if your child goes to another district, the residing district is going to have to pay some money to help with that. So what they did was they reduced some of your general fund and they supplemented it with, supplemented it with tuition. So now the districts have to levy, it's a permissive levy. So any child that goes to Smith Valley from Kyla, we have to, let me think how that works. Get this right.
So divert the funding that.
Yes, yeah, it has to help fund your general fund. So Smith Valley, I'll bill Smith Valley for some of their kids. They will write us a check. So we'll get checks as well as us giving out checks.
So money just kind of transfers around.
Yeah, it's a lot of paperwork for zero impact, but that's how it goes.
Is it a set rate per student, or how does that work?
It's based off of, I can get the formula for you, but it's all set up through OPI.
Okay.
How they have that set up, so.
So it isn't that type of deal where, I don't like that kid, let's charge him more.
No.
No, it's all.
No, and it's also based off of attendance, how many days they're enrolled there, and stuff like that, so.
So, no question on the minutes and warrants, transportation contracts, JV approvals.
The transportation contracts, we do not have bus service. So the law says anybody over 3 miles that are in our district, we pay them to drive to school. And it's based off of, it's not a state rate, but an OPI rate. So depending on how far they live, the rate changes. So the contracts that we have tonight are actually for next year because they have to have those in by June 1st for budgeting purposes.
So we are compensating whoever does the transportation.
Correct.
Parents,
Yeah, we pay the parents, and that also comes out of what's called the transportation fund, which is a permissive levy.
Yeah. So my family, we live like 3.8 miles away or something, so we get 0.8 miles times twice a day. Okay. It's a pittance for my family. It's very small amount. It's nice. Yeah.
And a JV is called a journal voucher. And what that is any adjustments, any corrections, anything that needs to be made that deals with anything financial needs to go to the board for approval. And so I'll do a JV. A good example, We issued a check for one amount, the bank cashed it for a wrong amount, $6 wrong. So they had to do a JV to fix that. So any JVs just need to go before the board, for auditor, which it should. And then like we'll have another JV is, we have an after-school program that gets money for snacks through, the federal, through OPI. But it goes into, the kitchen fund because that's just how they pay it. So every quarter, I will take whatever snack money has been put into the lunch fund and I transfer that back into the after-school program. So that's a JV because that's an adjustment, so. They will be in your packets.
And out of districts.
So we have two different sets of out of districts. We have kiddos that are in Kyla going somewhere else. And we have no say over that. We just acknowledge that application. And then new students that are mid-year, are admin approved, they go to the admin first and then they'll go to the board. The admin looks at enrollment, behavior, things like that. And new for next year, like our current kids this year in June, whoever has been here already will go to the board in June for approval or denial. Any new enrolled kiddos that have come into the district will be in August because we need to determine class sizes, things like that, so.
Any questions on consent agenda? Take a motion to approve the consent agenda. A motion to approve consent agenda.
I will second that.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, moving on. Reports and recognition, student report. I see a couple of our students back here.
Where am I standing
Oh,
today?
just one.
Let's see, Dorica.
Right over by Mr. Conover's desk. Is that a spot that it'll grab you? Or does he need to be behind us?
Linda, you're not in. Right next to Miss Linda would be great, Wyatt.
Oh, hi, I'm Wyatt Rodriguez. I'm in 8th grade and I am part of the student leadership team. So I get to come up here and talk to all of you guys. I see a new face. Welcome in. We'd love to have you here. And what I'll start with is our cross country season. Our last track meet is tomorrow. These are for the kindergarten and first graders. The number of people we had was 23. We had one to drop out, so now we had 22. Everyone ribbon this season, which was honestly awesome. I loved it. Cross country is always one of my favorite things to do, and our season is now over. Track and field day is also coming up. It'll be on May 27th, 29th. My bad. Oopsies. And we will host Smith Valley, Olney Bissell, and Kalispell Montessori. This will only be 1st through 6th graders. 7th graders are going to start fundraising for their 8th grade field trip, and 8th graders will be on their 8th grade field trip. And now I will talk about student leadership for next year. We are now accepting applications. It is open to current 5th, 6th, and 7th graders, and they are due May 27th. Students will also have to interview for a spot as well, which I think is cool. Good implement, whatever that was, I liked that. And even people who are already applied will have to reapply for a next spot. They won't just be bargained in. And that's all I have for you guys today.
Nice job.
Thank you. Thank you.
How many seats on the student body council?
How many what?
Seats, how many people get to be, like, you're gonna interview people?
Seats.
Oh,
We haven't decided that one yet, because I typically have 10, but we're kind of reworking our advisory group this year. I think 10 would still be great, because then 2 could go to each advisory teacher, and 2 leaders would still be with each one of our advisory teachers. 2 leaders, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I didn't talk to you about that, sorry. Thought of it
Great.
today.
I think it's
At lunch, I
wonderful.
was like, oh, this would be a great
But
idea.
since it's not tied into the actual advisory class, it'll be nice to be able to just have it be more who should be on the leadership team and not be kind of tied into a number. So who wants to and who should be.
We're hoping for 10.
yeah, I am. That's coming up pretty soon.
I helped carry in some snacks from the parking lot for the.
It's all right there.
Wyatt, do you want to quick share where you're going?
All around Montana.
Where,
Someone name a place.
do you know specifically where you're going that you could
We're
share?
going to Butte, Yellowstone, the Museum of the Rockies, Deer Lodge, Virginia, Nevada City. Cool. Virginia and Nevada City. We're going to the Gates of the Mountain as well. That's on a boat tour. We get to ride a train. All that fun stuff, yeah. So I'm very excited.
That's a great trip. I went on it.
You got going.
It's so much fun.
Do you need more chaperones? And then how many days? That's great.
And don't you go to the caverns as well?
Yeah, caverns.
That's fun.
Oh, wonderful.
We didn't do that. Oh,
It tends to be, that's about.
yeah. Good job.
Awesome.
Thank you, Wyatt.
Thank you. All right, we're gonna move on to our guest comments.
I'll do a quick, just guest comment and.
Well, hang on, not quite ready, sorry, I was pausing for a moment.
Okay.
Members of the public are encouraged to comment during this time regarding items not listed on the agenda. The chair will seek public comments on agenda items as they occur. By law, the board cannot take action on matters discussed during the public comment portion of the meeting, but may include a matter raised during this time on a future agenda. The board would like to remind everyone to avoid commenting on private personnel matters, private student matters, and pending legal matters. I believe we have at least one public comment.
We do. I'm Matt Conover. I'm the 6th, 7th, 8th, so our middle school math, and I do social studies for 7th and 8th. That also includes the 8th grade trip and all the 8th grade advising for high school and stuff like that. Just a couple things. Our auction, we do a big auction dinner, lasagna dinner, we make our own lasagna, went amazing. Our trip's fully funded, plus just like it was last year, which is always a great way to start out the year for us, for me personally, and not having that stress. Like Wyatt said, we do 4 days on a history trip. 4 days, 3 nights, we leave. It's the last week of the month, and we leave on Tuesday. We're back late on Friday. He pretty much hit all the places we go, I think. Just in addition, we did send 7 students to National History Day State in Bozeman on April 25th. It was a great trip. It's just something we added. I started it last year. We did an in-school kind of History Day projects. This year I was okay with going to regionals, which led to taking 7 kids to state, which led to 4 kids going to nationals in Maryland in May. So
Awesome.
kids are loving it as far as I know. It's one thing that they kind of had to individually fund. There was just something like even getting kids to nationals just surprised me. Miss Vickery is going with the kids. The teacher we technically have to fund ourselves just because, but there was a grant this year that pays $2,000 to help her with her trip, her airfare, all of her stuff. Sounds like that grant will be next year. The years after that, I don't think there is any grant. So like how we do that in the future is just something to keep our heads wrapped around, I guess. So really cool, University of Maryland. And just a really cool opportunity. The kids loved it. All their projects are all over, just stacked around in different places. Some of them are web pages, some of them are documentaries, boards. You can technically do a paper, nobody wants to write a paper. Anyway, if there's any questions, I'd be glad to answer, but yes, sir.
What grades are allowed to go or be part of the history club?
So we did 7th and 8th this year. That was just because that's what I taught. Next year, we are incorporating 6th grade. Miss Vickery has started to she's in a cohort to go through all the training that I did last year, teaches you how to do historical research with primary sources and establishing all the stuff that goes into this, it's huge. It takes a ton of time for the students and for the teachers and coaches. So she will be implementing it in 6th grade next year, which will help us out. Because when a 6th grader sees it, their 6th grade year, it makes it so much easier my 7th grade year, and hopefully our projects just continue to get better each year. So a lot like a science fair kind of thing, but it's history-based, primary sources, working with historians from the state of Montana and museums around the state. They do all that, reaching out to the University of Montana and getting resources. Kids, it's really good for kids to kind of just open up. It allows them to do something they're interested in, because the topic, I mean, like, basically it's open to them to choose what they want to do, which is great. So,
Thank you. Cool.
all right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Do we have any other public comments?
So I'm Mary Eli, 8th grade, I teach 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade science and some PE, and I am the 6th grade advisor. But 8th grade is gearing up for their rocket rally. And so they we go through different stages, but they are in the process of designing their water bottle rockets, and they launch as high as like 300 feet in the air. And so they have to meet certain requirements. You know, parachute has to come out. They will have a raw egg inside their capsule, if you want to call it, that has to survive. And so that is next Thursday. We go to Glacier High School and compete against other valley schools, which is pretty neat. Some of our flights have been happening, or launches, I should say, during recess. And so the little guys get to line up along the black, section of the wood chips, and they're watching. And Mrs. English was sharing that some of the 8th graders were even bringing their rockets over and explaining things to the little guys, which is really cool to see them step up and share what they're learning. So that's been a fun thing. Another thing that we're doing next week is there's a Power Your Future STEM conference that is geared towards 7th and 8th grade girls. And so it's all these middle school girls coming together and learning about different job opportunities that, maybe they didn't think to consider. And so we get to go, and it's really cool. They get a schedule and they bounce around the community college, and it's a really neat experience for them to go. So I always try and get everyone to at least go once. If they can go both, let's do it, but try it once, because you never know. So that's been happening in the science-y kind of world that we're in middle school. So
Thanks.
One more.
Yes.
So, and I miss counts. I don't think we've met yet, or Tika counts. I teach K6 PE, plus I teach music and art here for the littles. And I'm just letting you know, we have our talent show this Friday at 1:30. And so we have about 18 acts. I had to push the time back to 1:30, which actually seems to happen often, but yeah, should be a good one. We have a lot of, like each classroom will be performing a classroom bit, and then we have the rest will be filled with individual acts. So should be good. Hope to see you guys there if you can make it.
Awesome. Anyone else? Any former board chairs that want to? Thank you. All right, no more public comments. We'll move on to our action items. First action item today is trustee reorganization. So I guess we'll do these individually. We have 3 positions to appoint. One is a new board chair, one's a new vice chair, and one's a clerk. One for nominations for board chair.
Do we need to talk about it, or we just nominate?
Anybody can say I nominate.
I will nominate Nick as board chairman.
I second this. That's how this one goes.
And I also have to accept it.
Hold on about that.
In order to move forward. I see Amy's about to be
Well,
throwing
you have to
something at me. So we take nominations and acceptance, correct?
Correct.
Is that how it goes? So, I accept nomination to be board chair.
And everybody has to vote all in favor.
And I guess, all in favor?
Aye.
I'll vote for myself. Second on the list is we need to appoint a vice chair for the board.
I'd like to nominate Christine. I accept.
Do we have a second?
I'd like to second that.
All right. I guess I'll take a vote for all in favor of Christina being vice chair. Aye.
Aye.
No dissent. And now, arguably more important, we need to appoint a clerk.
I'd like to
Go right
nominate
ahead.
Miss Sharon Leach.
I'll second.
Thank you, and
All right, all in favor of that one?
I
Aye. No one opposed. All right.
That binder alone makes you not wanna do that.
How many pages is that? It looks like it's about 1,000.
This whole thing doesn't work without her.
There's a lot.
There's at least 2 readings.
Yeah.
It works for a little while till they find out that we haven't been doing it right, and then it.
So, since we- Next on the agenda, moving right along, out of district agreements.
So we have 3 kiddos that were in district, and they just moved out of district, would like to finish the school year here. And again, all agreements goes to Liz administration for pre-approval first.
And that approval has been.
It's at the top right of each of those.
So I'd like to take a motion to approve the out of district agreements.
I will make a motion to approve the out of district agreements.
All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Yeah. General fund, year-end funds transfer to the after-school program and lunch program.
So at our budget meeting, we talked about next year's budget, but we also talked about year-end monies for this year. And we usually put the majority into the multi-district agreement, which is an account. It used to be with your general fund, you use it or you lose it. And so legislation came up with an agreement that said, if you go into an agreement with these other districts, you can have what's called a multi-district agreement. You can put money from certain funds into this and basically have a savings account for projects. Because levies weren't passing, bonds weren't passing, and buildings were falling apart, so they needed a savings account for these projects. And so what we've been able to build up, and I think I put a copy in your packet about what's in there. We've been able to build up a nice sum in there. We're gonna have, it's only funded with year-end monies and interest. So this year's monies, we talked about the after-school program and the school food program. Their revenues are going down, increased expenses, decreased revenues. And it's like that with the majority of your districts with your school food funds, they have to supplant to help keep it going. And so we discussed that possibly putting 20,000 into each account from the general fund, transferring it into there to help keep costs down and help the food start maintaining. We'll probably have to visit the food again, because we don't know what the costs are going to be. And then whatever's left will go into the multi-district agreement. So it's not something the committee can decide on, the board has to decide on this kind of action.
So our options with something like this, as I understand it, are we either supplement out of our general fund or we charge more to
Correct.
both, for both meals in the school and for the after-school program.
Correct. The after-school program is 100% self-funded.
Yep.
And it's starting to hurt. Your school food program, we currently already put any of their benefits out of the general fund. So the districts put one salary and benefits or something like that. And, it's a Band-Aid for right now, but at least we can monitor it more.
This seems like a type of thing that comes up often,
Yes.
especially with food costs. We don't know.
I
what
think
things are
every
gonna be.
year we visit this, and we kind of discussed at the budget meeting. It's just, everything is such hard times right now for people, whether it's affording gas or food or with us not qualifying for the grant for the free meals for kids and stuff, this was kind of a way to help supplement that without raising prices even further.
And I know
Since we have the money.
since you and I have been on the board, I know we've raised after school once and we've raised food prices at least once.
Yeah.
Were those
and
both
milk.
last year?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we've raised milk.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so we have raised, I'd like to not raise if we can. That's just my opinion.
This is a way to do that, but
Yes.
again, it's just a Band-Aid, we might
It's-
have to readdress it later
We'll
on.
have
down
to
the
revisit
road.
it,
Yeah.
especially the food fund.
Right.
Yes. Food prices keep coming up.
Anyone else have anything?
I do have a question,
Yeah.
just for clarification, I thought we had talked about, getting out of a multi-district agreement, or maybe that was a different fund altogether, we were gonna separate our money from,
It is,
okay.
yep, it used to be how, so before they changed, the law, one school had to host the money. And so we would send money to West Valley, they were the host. Well, then effective July 1st, they changed, I got the House bill, they changed the law saying districts could actually not only, or house their own funds. Because not only with West Valley hosting our funds, it wasn't a true representation of our financials. It didn't show up on our financials. All it showed was a big check going to another school. So now that we get to house our own, it's a true representation of our financials. So it is with the treasurer's office, it is in our account,
It's just still called the same thing. even
still
though
called the same
yeah,
thing.
okay.
They just changed the rules
Okay.
to help the districts, with their projects and what they need those funds for.
They almost removed a layer of bureaucracy of it.
Sure.
It's kind of what it seems like. You don't have to go to them for money for other stuff.
And they also changed it where it doesn't have, your agreement doesn't have to be with another school district. It can be with another county entity. If you're working with somebody else, you can have agreements for all different kinds of things.
Sure.
So,
Yeah. Any other questions? Take a motion to approve the agenda C, general fund year-end funds transfer, AFP and lunch program.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the transfer of funds into the ASP and FP, or is that what it is? Food program.
Lunch program. All in favor?
Right.
okay, for my minutes, we're talking 20,000 each, correct?
Yes, yes.
Anyone opposed? All right. 2026, 2027 Evergreen Crossroads Agreement.
This is our standard agreement, so this is a specialized section of the Evergreen School, but it's different from their general education setting, and this agreement opens up doors for us to qualify students to go to that specialized program. Some of just totally summarizing crash course, if they have an IEP, an individualized education plan, and then have some behavioral concerns that exceed the needs or the requirements. Too much caffeine, just a sec. I'm like, exceeds what our school can provide, rather than bringing them into a more restrictive environment or like a one-on-one setting. You can send them to Crossroads, which is a avenue where they can have colleagues and go about their school day in a very structured behavioral program.
Do we have any students that are in that?
We do
Good question. How many?
one.
Oh, okay.
So it's not often, but I think since I've been here, we've had one or two. Lots of success there. Sometimes they send them back to the general education school, where we can monitor their IEP and how they're handling all of that. Most of the time, though, they end up going from Crossroads to Flathead High School.
You deem a consensus that this is a successful program that works well for kids?
I do. Mhm. The ratios of teachers to students is very small. The teachers are also specialized in behavior management and all of those things.
And this is funded through the tuition fund. So kiddos that go this year we get billed next year, and it is on a tuition permissive living.
What happens if we have a student that we recommend for that and, like I know we pay, transportation, but what if they didn't have the means for transportation? How would that work?
You do have to provide a busing situation for them.
Okay.
Yeah. We haven't had to go that route. Instead, we just pay the transportation for the parent to
Yeah.
take, but
But if they didn't have the means.
Years ago, we actually had to pay a contract driver.
So that has happened. Okay.
It was way before, we're talking probably 10, 15 years ago.
But it's rare. Any other questions? I will take a motion then to approve the 2026-27 Evergreen Crossroads agreements.
I will make a motion to approve the 26-27 Evergreen Crossroads Agreement.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? 2026 through 2029 Star and Elementary K-8 program agreements.
so these are through, sorry, I'm assuming you would like me to chat
Please do
about.
that, yes,
Okay. The STAR program and this, well, this whole thing is through the Special Education Cooperative. So the STAR is their preschool, and then the elementary K-8 program is actually like an autism specialized private setting, essentially. And those students would have to qualify to remain in that program. Otherwise, the STAR is like that child find thing you've maybe seen on the front door. We post it on the gym and the front door to the office. But if a student might need additional services before entering a K-8 school setting, they can get qualified for the STAR program. So they might also be qualified for even just receiving like speech services, to get them hopefully caught up to where they might be more successful in the general education setting, or just qualify for the full STAR program. So it's nice to have those opportunities. We have to provide a space for that. Others are, we don't have to have a preschool, but it does greatly help our kindergarten because they would be coming back to our kindergarten if we didn't approve the STAR program. So it's my recommendation to go with this agreement.
And that's funded the same as the other program.
Questions? Yeah, okay. I'll make a motion to approve the 26 through 29 STAR and elementary K program. I second that. I said I'd take a motion.
You said to make a
Oh, did I say make? Well,
You
that's right, the board chair can do it, so, okay, I'm gonna have to get used to that now. I will make a motion to approve it.
I second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Get ready.
Too good.
Oh my God. Is it warm in here? Is it just?
Can't be like
No,
a
it's warm.
Oh, no, I went
You almost hit Christina, come on now.
Sorry.
All right, we're gonna move along, Amanda. To the 24-25 audits.
So we get audited every year, and it comes in two pieces. So they will work on the financials. They'll send me, these financial data, and then, I have to put it into called what's an MD&A, Management Discussion Analysis, and it's basically a financial, summary of the district that will go into our audit. So I take the numbers they give me and I put those numbers in your packet so you can see where they actually come from, how it's the only way I can do it. It's my cheat sheet. And so this financial statement will then go into our final audit, which they are working on right now. I just got a phone call from this morning, so.
Who does the audit?
Well, it used to be Denny and Downey, and now it's Nexus. They bought it out, it's Nexus.
Oh, okay.
They're located south of town, they're local. They're one of the few auditors that will do school. It's getting harder and harder to find people to audit schools. So we've been with them as long as I've been here. And they do a good job. but he's new. But anyway, so yeah, this is the MVNA that needs to be approved to go into the final audit.
Any other questions? All right, I will take a motion to approve the 24-25 audit. MDA.
I'll make a motion to approve the 24-25 audit MDA.
I'll second that. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, 25-26 CSCT amendment.
So CSCT amendment is something that has actually happened at the state level and DPHHS and how they are going to bill out for CSCT. We currently, if you remember a little while back when they switched it the first time this school year, we would have had to pay a pretty significant portion of any student who is qualified under CSCT. All of our, this is through YBGR, all of our YBGR, which is Yellowstone Boys and Girls Ranch area, kids are actually noted as a different coding for billing. So we don't technically have any CSCT kids right now. You did approve up to a certain dollar amount that we could help supplement a student that would need it. This amendment would just not allow us to service as many kids with that funds. It wouldn't switch anything how we would do it. It just costs more per kid. And this is just through May 9th, which would actually be May 14th then through June 30th. So just through the end of this fiscal year. And I'm recommending that we do accept the amendment.
Anyone have questions? I will take a motion to approve the 25-26 CSCT amendment.
I will make a motion to approve the 26-27 CSCT amendment.
All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Now with the amendment for the rest of this year's out of the way, we're gonna move right along to the 26-27 CSCT contract.
Correct. At this time, it's my recommendation that we actually table this. And we doesn't have to, it won't go into effect until July 1st. So we do have June's board meeting, but, Harry, just so you know, our YBGR is like an outpatient therapist, and a behavior specialist that we don't pay. We essentially rent a room to them for free in our building. They do all their own billing, sorry. And then any of our kids that might leave to go see a therapist, drive all the way into Kalispell, spend an hour, come all the way back, can just walk down the hall. I love this program so much. There's a lot up in the air and I'm not getting very clear answers right now from Yellowstone Boys and Girls Ranch. So currently, from my personal standpoint and opinion, we are functioning just fine with only a behavioral specialist, and now they might be trying to add a therapist back in. We've had 3 in the last 5 years, which is very disruptive to our students. Also,
therapists.
Yep,
Yeah.
have rotated. We've had 1 behavior specialist and we've had 3 therapists.
Yep.
So having to pivot with our kids, they have to then split their time between the behavior specialist. And I'm not getting clear answers on whether or not having a therapist on site then forces us into a CSCT program. So, which then we would be paying double for the remainder of the school year. With the funds you've already approved for the amendment, all of those kids could be deemed CSCT and we would be covered through the remainder of the school year. They need to provide a much clearer picture of what's happening right now before I'm comfortable recommending that we put ourselves in that contract.
So we don't need to sign this today because it doesn't go into effect.
They would love for us to sign this today,
Yeah.
but the effective dates are July 1st 2026 to June 30th, 2027.
So I remember we've touched on different elements of this program over the years. And we had probably the most community engagement I've ever seen. When something happened with the program last year. And the community overwhelmingly loves this program. So I'm okay tabling it until we know more, but definitely it's something I think we should be bringing back because it seems very important to our community.
I'd like to ask a couple questions before we table it. When we had our therapist removed this year, right? Or was that last year?
Well, our therapist this year resigned.
Resigned, okay,
Mid-year.
that's what,
There's a difference between therapist and behavioral specialist.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the therapist left.
Mhm.
That's what I wanted to know,
Yeah,
was,
okay.
was it on her own or
Mhm.
was it why?
She decided to go private practice.
Okay, and did they try to replace her or we asked not
It's
to?
sort of been open for a while. And then just this last week, there's now a candidate. They interview. If they like the candidate, then we do a meet and greet between the behavior specialist and myself and their team. And then we decide if it's a good fit or not. So it's at that meet and greet, and then there will be a post meeting with the YBGR staff and we discuss the hire. That's not, the other part that makes this tricky is they're not our employees. So that person is not under my supervision. I don't really even have a say in who they hire or not hire. The only thing I have a say in is that's not a good fit. You're forcing that person into our school and we're not gonna sign our contract. Which is why I would like to table this.
That's what I wanted to ask was, can they place someone?
They can,
That
but we
we do
can
not
also
approve.
then just not do that anymore.
Right, yeah. So if we were, say, to sign this moving forward, do
Mhm.
we have the choice? We don't have the choice to say we don't want a therapist. We only want the behavior.
That's what I need
specialist.
clarity on. They're saying because our behavior specialist needs to work under a licensed therapist. They have our behavior specialist supervision from someone working remotely who does have to meet remotely with our kids once a month. And it seems to be going great.
Right.
The other bummer is all of our kids really like and have enjoyed their time with this other person who's digital, so I'm not really sure what's going on and I'm not getting very direct answers right now.
Should we bring up the therapist in, sign this, and they decide to bring a therapist in? Do they share that space or they do?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not required to provide a second space.
Correct. So they have, it's probably like from this eraser all the way to the horrendous flag on the back wall. And over of a space, so our behavior specialist is in the back, there's a nice little meeting table in the middle, and then there's a second desk. So,
So it sounds like we need more information on this. Anyone else have questions?
Stuff they can wait till later, I think.
Yeah.
For sure.
More answers first. Yeah. All right, so I'll take a motion to table the 26-27 CSCT contract.
I will make a motion to table the CSCT contract for 26-27.
I will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
I want. She's a bobcat.
Might end up figured out. I'm gonna wear a Grizzlies sweatshirt at some point, just cause.
I didn't know, but my new truck is Grizz colors. I've got.
Ooh.
it is one of my best colors to wear. It's unfortunate.
All right, moving along. Strategic action plan amendment.
So Harry, our strategic action plan is a state mandated document that we have that provides our vision, our mission, kind of an outline of curriculum, all the things we do. And then the very end of it kind of talks about when we accept out of district kids and when we do not. So if you guys could not look at the digital one, that was the strategic action plan committee actually got together. And this was kind of the end of our first draft, what's on the digital. The committee has made some input and that's been edited to the paper copy in front of you. So the only thing we're looking at amending today is pages 12 and 13. And they're highlighted in yellow, the areas that have changed. So if we're just going through a little crash course, kindergarten through second grade, we can only have 20 kids maximum in a class. You can push that to 24, but then you have to have a paraprofessional or support personnel in that classroom, an hour and a half for every kid you're over 20. So that's up to 6 hours then in each classroom, which is a full day. So essentially, if you have 24 kids in a K2 class, you have to have a full-time para in that room. We had an hour and a half additional support per student over 20. So just clarifying that that's an hour and a half every day or per day was the suggested language change there. When we get to third and fourth grade, you can have up to 28 kids, and then that number is 32. And then in middle school, it's 30. You can push it to 34. So where our class sizes, our biggest class right now is 27. 27, 28. No, they're 27. 27-ish is our largest class. We have two of those, and then our smallest class is at 16.
What's the total enrollment in the school?
We're at 194 right now, 194.3. So we have a partial enrollment. We'll talk about that another day. So then the rest of this is, we wanted to meet as a strategic action plan committee to just review, make sure we understood what we were doing. The way this was written in the past on page 13, there was something at the very bottom that the committee has suggested we actually just remove, and that was that each year, even if you've been here, you have to meet the criteria in the table. So essentially, even though you were here, you're not guaranteed to be here in the following year. So the committee actually met, and we invited the K-1-2 teachers to that meeting. None of them were specifically on the committee, but those are our jam-packed classrooms. So wanted to get their input on what if you had 21 just because we let the kinders all come and be part of first grade. Everybody's very on board with, if you've already been here, your attendance is good, your behavior is not impeding those of others, or creating safety concerns or issues, then once you're a cougar, you're always a cougar. So that, taking out that section about all kids except for this year's kinders being grandfathered in, and we would have moved that up instead of a phased approach, just keep going with the once you're a cougar, always a cougar. The other piece though, that has been amped up a little bit is, if we're gonna go with once a cougar, always a cougar, that means though that your behavior does not impede that of others. So if last year you had some suspensions, you had a consistent disruption in the classroom to others, lots of office referrals, then you would be up to not be welcome back the following school year. Likewise, if you're taking a spot on our enrollment, but you're not showing up, that becomes a very large issue for the classroom. So yeah, we're collecting A and B for that kid. However, if you're above the state truancy maximum, we don't get funding for that kid for that count day. And if they then just decide to come back, the amount of time it takes away from the rest of kids that have been here to have the teacher come in and reteach all of that material is crazy. Even if the parent were to say, well, I'll just get me a packet and I'll teach this at home. The amount of prep time that then takes away from our teachers and focusing on making lessons more engaging, or maybe we want to dabble in a PBL, project-based learning activity, we're making a packet for so-and-so because they chose to not be at school. Absenteeism is going to be a hot topic. I just heard this morning at the next legislative session, and I hope we can all kind of get on board that attendance is just a non-issue apparently with all the things that they have taken away right now, and that is a giant problem. So unless you can demonstrate that you already know everything, you need to be here. But that's definitely reflected then number 2 on page 13 on here. So then first we're looking at your behavior. Second, we're looking at your attendance. Third, we're looking at any kids that were enrolled here in the past. Then it would move to if you have a sibling. And then finally, if there was only one spot for our new kiddos, then it would come down to the timestamp that you turned in your out of district application to the office. So that's sort of all the changes in a nutshell, and just being really clear about, so there's a large difference between a child being a constant disruption and a safety concern to making one poor decision at the beginning of the school year, and then we've kind of engulfed them in our culture and we've just seen progress all year. So this is written the way it is to kind of acknowledge all of those things.
So I have a question. So let's say you can have 20 in the class. We say you stop at 18 taking out of districts. What if you had a scenario where you had 16 kids in the class? Several of them were challenging, disruptive, and residents of Kyla. So it's not like we can't say you can't come back next year. And you get 2 kids wanting to come in from other districts. By sheer numbers, we would allow them in, but by dynamics in the classroom, would this say you have to take?
So I would call the admin from the other school. If there were no behavioral records or issues with attendance, then we probably would want to accept them. Lots of times kids learn better from each other and kids doing the right thing than adults telling them what to do. So sometimes adding numbers is actually beneficial to a classroom of students that have some behavior issues. But great question. Great scenario. Committee members, does anybody have, I think most of you were there.
You did a great job. Yeah, I think you explained it really well. And like the K-1-2, they were all on board with what we were saying as well.
Yeah, that was nice to hear.
Because of their classrooms, and they were able to pitch their concerns and how it would affect them. We all had a great conversation around everything.
Any other questions?
Just for clarification again, one of these things that we're talking about is stating that like once Cougar, always Cougar, right? That's what we're going to adopt, more or less, right? I'm a little worried that like that might paint us into a corner in the future, like we have no wiggle room. So like if you get admitted into the school and then later on we get like a subdevelopment built, right? We don't have any way to adjust the numbers so that we're still. Is that gonna be a problem?
Did you
down the
say
road?
subdivision built?
I didn't say that.
Oh, what did you say if we have a what?
If we just have like a bunch of houses built.
Oh.
We have a bunch of families.
We can, if we know that's happening, we get a notice in the mail. We can then dig into what ages are buying these and if they do have kids or not. And then before they would come into the school, because they would all be new, we can amend our strategic action plan at any time in the school year. Yeah. Since we don't have a subdivision though, right now currently.
Please no.
Right.
Yeah, never.
Please no
I'll
subdivision.
put that up there.
Yeah.
Right, any other questions? Unfortunately. I will take a motion to approve the strategic action plan amendment.
I will make a motion to approve the amendment to the strategic action plan.
I'll second this.
Oh, yeah. Could you grab it?
All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, our last action item.
Wow.
It looks like a big one. Summer maintenance bids. Looks like we've got mowing, asphalt, and doors.
Yep, so these would need to be 3 separate
Okay.
motions.
Let's take, we'll do motion separately and we'll just go one at a time then. We'll go with the mowing bid.
Let's start with mowing. So Kyla is interesting for trying to get people to come out here and even give bids. It's a long way out of most people's range for where they service. If they come out here, they also want to be on a weekly plan, and I'm not interested in even receiving a bid for someone to come out on a weekly plan. So we did have a, bid from Meehan Construction who did it last year, and this has been amended from the first time. Did we table this last time or did it not make it onto the board?
I don't
Okay,
think so.
So originally they had given a bid that could have gone on last meetings, but I didn't have a competing bid. At this point, I don't have anyone who's even willing to come out and do a competing bid, and I've talked to 4. So Meehan makes 4. So I've talked to 3 other companies. They've all just said I need to be weekly or I'm not going to come out to Kyla as a new customer. And this does seem pretty reasonable. The eyesore of the bottom of the slopey thing over there is what we're really talking about being fertilized in this bid. I would love to see the lines above up here by the where the kids' eyes play kickball and the septic drainage system
The bid was in the packet, yeah.
be filled in, and then we just hopefully turn our clay into grass and not mud every year. There was a mud season 3 different times this year. It was pretty terrible. Just get it looking nice, and hopefully with more grass, it holds in more water, and then we can go there. And then I also know that mowing in front of our fence is important to some, so that's included at the bottom.
That's an option, right?
So 6550 is just mowing everything, which does include our track and field. And then these other 2 options are in addition to that. I have already approved to pay them to come out 3 times before track and field day. So they've already done 2, which is just a pay per come, sort of thing. And then this would be the rest of summer. So one of the reasons it's important to do our track and field is the amount of knapweed that actually was out there one year when we weren't doing it and upkeeping. So also trying to help pat that down and spray and all the things, but.
How, is it on an on-call basis? You tell them we come out and mow, so there's no schedule to it then?
Right, so, well, you know how grass grows, I won't, I can't, but it's not like I'm gonna come.
I need this.
I went into super explain mode for today, and I don't think you need that one, but the photosynthesis is there, but essentially they would probably drive by and just bring me up and say, it's looking a little shaggy, do you want us to mow? I could say, no, let's wait till next week because this is happening, or yada yada.
So we pay that price no matter they mow once for the summer or they mow 25 days. That was a shock.
I remember that. Yep.
I mean, they're not gonna come every day if I just keep calling them and.
Yeah.
I would, don't let them get by.
So what, do we know, so I don't have it in front of me because my thing's not working right. Do we have a date that this goes through, or is it just like the summer, fall season?
Through September 15th.
Okay.
So this includes them spraying for knapweed?
Mm-hmm.
That's what knapweed medication
And the
is.
fertilizer.
Yep.
And
Well, the fertilizer and the ditch in front of the fence, because the county does the rest, but the ditch in front of our fence is an additional $950. So I didn't total this for you, but those 3 numbers added together.
I think it looked better with them doing it last year. It looked better than previous years. Wasn't a show.
But yeah, and the reason why the thing came up in the ditch is because of me. There was a. I'll just admit.
Just dive yourself out.
No, I was just driving and there was a young girl who was walking in the ditch and the grass was super high and I'm like, why aren't we mowing that? And then I found out that wasn't included in her. But so that's why that's there, just FYI.
Got it.
But there's a kid walking along the road. They're walking in the ditch.
Yeah.
The other option is to have our custodial staff do it.
And they would do basically nothing else but this.
Correct.
Didn't we try that before? Didn't-
Yeah.
Weren't they like overwhelmed?
We've tried that and they weren't able to get all their other duties. I don't think we get like the napkin
Yeah.
mitigation and stuff. out of it
Yeah.
either.
I only did the track and field one time. It is extremely bumpy and took me, well, I'm not skilled either, so take that into consideration, but it took me 2 hours just to do the track and field.
You said you did it?
Yeah,
So we have our, did you use your equipment or do we have equipment? for
we
that?
have equipment. It's hit many a rock. It's my family's old one that we donated to the school, so it's not
It's older.
It's not like we've invested in equipment we just wouldn't be using by going with this bid.
Let's see.
The 6550 is comparable to last year, though, correct?
It's actually less because it's less time in one full bid. Overall, you'll see the same price essentially, but adding on the add-ons to what was paid for last time.
Moving forward.
I am too.
I'll take a motion to approve the mowing bid with the add-ons.
I'll make a motion to take, approve the bid with the add-ons.
I'll second.
I get the second.
He gets-
one.
You just gotta be quick. All right, all in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Excellent. All right, asphalt bids. We had a couple.
We have, so either way, because my max is 5,000, so the $3,700 asphalt bid for parking lot pros is gonna go through from my end. So this, sorry, this, reshapes that mound that enters the gym. Because currently the way that it has fashioned itself, it's not technically totally compliant. So this brings us into ADA compliancy with anyone trying to enter the gym. So instead of a mound, it would be more of like just a smooth thing in theory. I don't also do asphalt, so I don't know
Like an
how that
asphalt
works.
ramp, basically.
Like a outwardly
Gradual
ramp
slope.
thing.
Gradual
A gradual
sloping.
A gradual sloping
She's not in
asphalt.
construction, she's in education.
Yeah.
Not like
So
this.
that is separate. That is $3,700 on top of the parking lot pros bid, which fills in all of the holes. When you walk down, you're gonna know what we're talking about, but there's quite a few, like right off the front of the office. And if you're coming out the door of the office and walk straight down, you're gonna hit this dip thing with a crack thing that's been sealed once before in it. And that fills up with water and becomes ice, just kind of dams up. So the rest of this fills those in, reseals all of it and restripes it. So that one is $14,000 just to do all of that piece.
And the 3,700 is extra, that's to do the ramp on the gym, right?
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
through the same company.
through the same company. I had them separate out the two and kind of itemize that way. So total it would be $17,700.
Who's that bid from?
Parking lot pros.
Oh,
They just did the little parking lot in front of UPS that's right by Wendy's in Kalispell. I was going to UPS yesterday and thought
Check out their work.
it was good. Yeah, it was like nice. Our other bid, so I tried to get two at least for everything for this meeting. This is why I was laughing, but our other bid is $48,000 to do the same work.
Who is that?
48,000.
That was from,
There's no business going on.
oh, I'll get it for you. It starts with an H. Sorry, I thought it was on here.
No, it's okay.
That sounds kind of like an I don't want to do it price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll do it, but you're gonna pay for it.
Yeah.
Or was it like a government contractor?
Hanson.
So the 14,000 would come out of our year-end money? Or,
Well, depending on when they could do it, what we would do is put our year-end money into the multi-district agreement. And then that doesn't have an end date, where this year's money, June 30th is the end date. So
I
we
have
just,
to go to after school really fast.
so we just take it out of that. That's our place that has no end date.
Yeah.
So,
We have a commitment from them to get it done before the school year starts, do we know?
I don't know. That'd be good.
I would think so, I would hope so.
My tablet stopped working. I believe I read that it was this summer thing. When I was reading through.
I think most of the projects are gonna be summer, like even the gutters that we approved, we can't get to them until this summer.
Yeah.
And so we were gonna use this year's end monies to help pay for that, but we're gonna put that into the agreement, so we can pay it during the summer.
As long as we have a commitment with asphalt people is always concerning going in this often.
I'm sure she's probably got something that needs to be signed.
I don't think I have anything for that in my packet.
I don't have the updated one. Since the 2000.
So let's discuss,
Oh, it does say right there.
it does have, I thought I read something
Yeah,
in there.
after June 10th is the first day of summer break for the children.
Yeah.
Which makes it ideal time to complete the work.
Right,
I can reserve that date for you.
right. So let's talk about the two prices, right? We've got $48,000 or 14,000. 14,000 with a $3,700 add-on.
Yeah.
I haven't seen their work. Liz said she saw their work up at UPS and it sounded good. Or it looked good to her. So, and honestly, 48,000 sounds to me like I don't want to do a price.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Right.
I think the wise use of our money is going with the lower bid on this. Sharon, have we done any restriping or anything in the last 3-4 years?
We have,
I thought we did it once.
yet we,
maybe 2 years ago.
we restriped, repainted, we've used Crohn's, and we've also used we used Crohn's the first time, the second time, because I actually looked it up. And it was close to $10,000, that was a few years ago.
Okay.
And that was just sealing,
Resealing and
sealing
striping.
and striping.
Yeah.
And
It
there's,
wasn't any of the
remember
extra
that.
stuff that's
Yeah.
detailed in there, but. I
we've
mean,
got a section up by the kindergarten room, you can see it over there, there's a big chunk, and it started out literally at the beginning of the school year this big, and it is big. And we even talked to the maintenance person about it, and they said it needs to be hammered out, it needs a proper patch or fixed job, not a patch,
Yeah.
so.
When it was icy and I wiped out so hard on it, and I had to go, I've had to do work from home because it tweaked my back and that's not good.
I think we should fix it so that we don't have any workers' comp claims.
That's a good idea. And that was gonna be my other question was, how far up is this coverage, like is all the way to kindergarten?
Are we still talking about asphalt?
Yes.
Yes.
We have-
Sorry, we have a sub of a sub of a sub in after school and a different little medical situation. Everything that's blacktopped right now is included in here.
Yeah.
So that also goes all the way down our 4 square hopscotch area. Yeah,
Awesome. That's nice.
so it'll look uniform.
I
I
mean,
think we do it.
we got it. You're thinking there, I can tell.
At this price, I'm wondering, like, is there anything else we want to add on?
Well, it's already all the blacktop.
It is, yeah.
They're an asphalt company, so it seems like a competitive price in today's market with how much it takes to do anything.
Have we ever considered paving back where everybody parks in the dirt behind the trees?
That's where I was going there.
For more,
Yeah, we did. I had a guy come out, we're talking about 10 years ago, because of parking, we needed more parking, and
Yeah.
for employees, they would have to raise it up,
yeah,
concrete, and at that time, it was over 60,000. At that time, just for that little patch.
For 10 parking spaces.
Mhm.
yeah,
So the cost of it was building it up.
yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
the dirt work and.
So,
It's a lot of dirt work. You gotta tamp the dirt down.
but that's always been
Concrete,
the same.
yeah.
But it's expensive, and that cost was a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, we could probably realistically get 20, 30 parking spots maybe on the day. I
You
know.
did the whole thing, yeah.
Yeah, if you did
Yeah.
the whole thing, but yeah, that's a lot of money. Darn.
They park there anyway.
Yeah.
Only 4-wheel drives in the winter.
Yeah.
All right, comfortable asking for a motion to approve the lower price cost. Is it Pavement Pros?
Parking lot pros.
Parking Lot Pros, asphalt bid. With the add-on, well, she can do the add-on by herself, is what she said.
You can also just approve it if you want.
Yeah, we'll just approve it.
I will make a motion to approve the bid from Parking Lot Pros for 14,000 and the second bid for 3,700.
I'll second this motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. Our third summer maintenance bid is on the doors.
So this took some love and attention to even get bids for these and lots of avenues, but we do have two competing bids that are actually very similar for doors, which made me feel good because I know nothing about doors. You thought I didn't know about asphalt. Wait till we get to doors, but what I did find out is that we have the hollow aluminum doors, and so most of our local people do not even sell those. So we have to go out of town to source them in, and then because you have to go out of town, people do not install. But Meehan Construction has said that they are ready to go and install if we want this summer. Because well, basically every single set of our double doors in the school could be replaced at this point. The back doors of the gym that lead to the shed are some of the worst, but very rarely, not rarely, I shouldn't say that. Not a high priority in the scope of things. All of these doors are also part of a bigger long-range facility plan. So I wanted to get all 5 of these priced out just to see what they would be. For now, and the safety long-range facility plan committee will need to meet again before summer. But essentially, we're not going to be able to do any construction-y things, even with our reserves, or our interlocal, any of that we've squirreled away since we can't pass a bond or levy, until next summer. That does leave us, and this is like a hill that I'm willing to die hard on, that I need new doors for the office building. So on the bids, if you're looking at doors A and B, in lieu of having a construction plan for this summer, that could then go into next summer. If we were to replace doors A and B, so it's A is the front office door that everybody comes in to see Sharon and Judy, and then B is the back door of the same building. So for safety, security purposes, we really need to get moving on some of those things and have an alternate kind of traffic route for the campus. But replacing those doors, we will be able to do that. So, opening a pair, I actually really like this idea. One of the reasons we need new doors there, they're actually some of our nicest, but in order to have those be a buzz-in door, we need that center crash bar to run the electricity down. So this provides that. But on this one, if you watch the kids try and open these double doors, they almost all open the right one. And then the left one, they're all like, they can't open it anyways. So for Anderson Steele's bid, I was sharing that with him and he said, what if you did a 2.5, 6-inch door and then a wider door that is also ADA compliant if we were ever to change those stairs into a ramp, because people come in and out of that door anyways. So then those ones have tempered glass. We could also, for the same price, go with the 2 regular size doors like we have now, just with a center crash bar. Those wouldn't be ADA compliant, so the back door would need to get wider. But my recommendation looking at these would be to go with the Anderson Steele bids for A and B. Any questions?
When you say tempered glass, do they, and maybe this is going overboard, but thinking about long-term range, because I'm working on a couple schools, have we looked at doing any bulletproof glass?
The glass portion. Well, how this was explained to me is. I don't know if you want to close the session or if you want to talk about the long range plan of the safety and why it would be necessary, but essentially any of these doors you could move anywhere else.
You can?
You can
Okay,
after, so we're buying them, we're putting them in one spot for now, but that might not be their final resting place in the long range
Grander scheme.
plan. So we would wait till we're at the final steps to probably do what you are talking about.
okay.
I don't know if that answers your question without, okay. But without saying too much, like this is not something that I think that we can sit on until, so they could come, they could be installed over the summer, and this is something that is possible for the 26-27 school year.
So as it stands right now, basically anyone can walk up and walk in doors.
Probably want to close the session if you keep going.
So what's the cost of the two A and B?
So from Anderson's, do you not have these?
It's a 158 page packet.
Let me find the pages if you're looking at that.
7375.
Thank you.
That's what I'm on.
One's 5475 and the other one's 2900. A is 5475.
8,500.
Yeah. And B is
And then the other one's about $2,000 more per door. So if you're going to be looking at the DHU, the Doors and Hardware Unlimited, you add about $1,000 to each of those.
And we're talking mostly about just A and B right now.
Are we
For now.
exploring the options of, I mean, like, do we get a better price if we do it all at once as far as install and?
Well, install wise, yes, but the other stuff would need to get built before you can install any of the other ones. Yeah.
So A and B would secure the office building.
Almost. I need 2 additional bids and then we can apply for the Flathead Electric Roundup for Safety grant, which would cover everything else that I need. So we need, not I, we.
I've always been in favor of securing the school. Hey, what do you got?
Just want to make sure that the doors that we end up going with are going to work for what our long-term plan is, but can I ask that now, or should we just push pause on the meeting and?
If you want to go into closed session, you cannot,
Yeah,
or we can wait until
I have a
these
couple
2
things we
doors would be transitioned, but
I have a couple things we can talk about and some explanation to do, so we could close the session for 5 or 10 minutes. Just to go through that stuff. So, yeah, good. All right, let's go ahead and close at 4:48.
out of abundance of caution for safety,
Out of an abundance of caution.
which supersedes the public's right to know.
You got it. Skittles lady over there is now. We start recording. All right, we're reopening the meeting at 4:56.
So which was the preferred vendor?
This is weird out here. I got it.
Ask Liz that question. I don't have it. Anderson Steel. Yeah.
Yes, Anderson's.
They're both at a great.
Recording's going?
Mhm.
All right. So, are there any more questions? Nope. All right, I will. Sorry, I blanked there for a moment. I will take a motion to approve the Anderson Steel door bids for A and B doors.
I will make a motion to approve the bids for the Anderson Steel for opening A and opening B.
I'd like to second that. I know.
You asked for a discussion. Can I just say something before you vote?
Yep, we have one more point to bring up.
So these are literally just the doors though, so I don't want you to be blindsided when I also come with like a $3,000 install
Correct.
that I can approve later. I just want to be really transparent on that.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Understood.
Yes, we understood. All right, motion's there. Motion has been seconded. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? All right. That concludes the action portion of our meeting. Move on to information items. I survived. Never done. All right, information items, follow-up discussion. Have anything that we need to follow up on? We move right into kind of a bummer, the summer program cancellation. Oh, it happens.
Yeah, so previously at a board meeting, the board had decided that we would need 13 kids to sign up. It was $150 a piece to participate in week-long sessions of our summer camp that Miss Counts was going to run. So that $150 times the 13 was our break-even point. We only had 8 sign up, 6 of whom were enrolled Kyla kids. So we had 2 homeschool students that wanted to participate for each session. So didn't meet our threshold, and by the deadline then needed to cancel the program.
I think the deadline went too soon. We ran the deadline till the end of May last year, so, and we did barely make it as, at that time too, so, I mean, I don't know how to relook at it next year to make it happen again. But yeah.
And Todd, some reminders would probably help too, because my daughter had completely forgotten about it.
Right, and then that's the other thing, we've been receiving complaints about using JoJo too much, but it's really the only way that I can get a hold of all parents.
Well, it's
so-
also on the reader board
Yeah,
for
it's
3
everywhere.
weeks. So, I mean, everyone, you can't have the excuse of not seeing it because
Yeah.
you literally picked up your kid and dropped them off twice a
Yeah.
day. Or someone for your,
What did
Family.
that program consist of?
Tika, do you wanna share?
So we would just get together, I mean, I called it summer camp because if I called it summer school, then it was just, you know, I do have assignments that we do, but they're more like PE and art and things like that, and not sitting down and, you know, doing math worksheets all day. But we do try to incorporate a little bit of that and reading and writing. But we would just be here all day. Mostly the kids would get here. We would just wait for all of them to arrive outside. We'd come in, we'd do an activity, then we would go for our PE portion, which would be walking that direction, mostly to the large park. We'd have snack there because it all kind of aligned at that time. Then we'd come back, we would do another activity. Sometimes we would collaborate with the other summer program. YGBR has a summer program too, so we would always like one day have like movie day with them in the gym, just try to make it as fun as possible and have a lot of like hands-on things for our kids to do.
Sure.
The kids who have participated in the past have really loved it. So it is a really large bummer that we will revisit next year.
Mhm. And maybe it'd be something, I think we found the most success with it being less expensive. So the mindset of saying, oh, let's increase the price so we can cover it, but maybe we lower the price and have to have 15 rather.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's just looking at it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But realistically, it was already very comparable. I was actually very fairly priced compared to
is,
other
yeah.
summer camps that
Mhm.
are provided in the valley, so.
So.
Especially, well, this one's close to home for all the families too, right?
Yeah, but it was
So they have
about
to go 5 miles.
60% of the cost of most of the other camps in the valley.
Okay. And they have to travel 5 miles instead of 20.
Right.
Or 25.
And that's where I think we kind of went wrong too, was putting that deadline for like families that are, needing to know that time frame because they take their kids to town, whereas I found the kids that are actually attending are not going to town. They come here because they're bored and they need something to do during the summer. And in April 6th, the deadline, they're not really even thinking or processing 2 months, 3 months away, summer stuff. So,
And we had to have that deadline because we were competing kind of or against other programs, was that?
What was discussed at the board meeting was if we weren't to have it, they would need that time to probably put their children somewhere else. But then when we did see the registrations, that's not actually likely, except for maybe two.
yeah. Yeah, so we'll do it again next year if we can figure it out.
Thank you.
All right, MTSBA board training think tank Thursday. I don't really have much from that. So, sorry, I've had, I would like Amanda to chime in if she has something to say.
So Lance is still just trying to influence the way that people are communicating about school funding, because we still have that interim commission that is completely reviewing how the state funds public education. Right now, we're on you get funded 80%, you got to levy for the other 20. They would like that completely revamped so that we're not constantly begging our, local property owners just to get up to a fully funded school. So I think in your board packet there was.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of information about it towards the end of the board.
So that's his big thing right now, is just trying to get that out there as they keep talking to the commission.
Thanks for bailing me out.
I got you.
After school program, emergency track phone.
So we don't have a way to route calls after hours to the after school program room. Also, when the power goes out, which has happened 3 times now this school year, we do not have a way for parents to call the school because our phones are directly tied to our internet. So we are going to purchase an emergency track phone. It would essentially live in the after school room. So parents, if they need to call in or update someone or anything like that, have an avenue to get a hold of the after school people rather than through Dojo. Luckily, right now our staff have Dojo, so parents can communicate that direction, but it is nice to talk to someone who's in charge of your kid rather than trying to Dojo if there's something intense that's happening. And then we will blast that out next year. If the power goes out, here's the number that you can call. So Judy or Sharon would come over and grab it, and that would live in the office during like a power outage. If someone needed to call and say, Abe's gonna pick up my kids today because I can't get off work, whatever, rather than I'm taking all the dojos during a power outage and trying to do the things. And we thought, Sharon and I thought, instead of going to like AT&T and getting a annual contract, we would just buy the minute usage phone piece. So that's why it's not being brought to you as an action item, because it's not actually a contract. It's just a pay as we need to refill the track phone card thingy. Obviously, I haven't bought it yet because I don't know much about it, but that's the
So
intent.
that's a single cell phone.
Yep.
And then we also talked about it's an employee security issue too, because employees are having to use their personal phones to call parents. Now parents have our personal phone numbers. And so we had discussed a track phone for everything.
And they don't have to, they're choosing to, because it's like we have the phone in the after school room, they can call a parent on, you can star 6-7 your phone and it's a void number, but now phones do this thing where like they won't accept a blocked phone number. So we've had that a couple times this year during a power outage with the families that we really need to get a hold of whose kids are still here from personal cell phones. So it would also be nice to just put on the dojo, like the power's out, here's the number you call, rather than just expect people to have it in their phones or something.
Okay, Again, I'm a technology rebel. What's Dojo?
Dojo is like an app on your phone, so all of the staff can use their cell phones and be messaging parents back and forth, but it's through an app. It's not through the text messaging on the phone. So parents don't have staff cell phone numbers unless a staff member intentionally gives it to them. It sort of hides and blocks your cell phone. So
Understood.
you can turn off notifications for Dojo on your phone after a certain time. You necessarily turn off the text message from someone who randomly has your cell phone number. And parents will text you at 10:37 at night about something that's very important to them that is not high on your priority list.
And
So-
on the weekends.
And on the weekends
So
or
Ms. Counts-
holiday.
Ms. Counts just put in something earlier today, or no, this was 7 days ago, sorry. It's
No,
a
that's today.
7-day-old message, but it's top of my feed for some reason. So we can read about it, and it's just.
Because did I pin it?
It's a pin, yeah. Yep, it's a pin post.
Yeah.
Have I read this one? I don't know.
What is it? Is it your best?
I don't even know.
That's a good way to communicate with staff.
Okay.
And like I can post an announcement to the whole school, so every parent gets it as well. It's just we can do a crash course on that if you'd like to as well.
I might be a rebel, but that much I do understand.
All right. Board goals for June meeting.
Every year we review board goals. So in your packet are this year's, and then for consideration, we'll take an action in June.
Normally, I don't think that you guys have been doing this till August or September, but it's really important to me that we're coming together at the end of the school year and gives me the entire summer to plan for next year. Cause I'll have my own goals, and then if what I've done over the summer doesn't actually align with what your top priorities are, that would be kind of fighting with time against each other. So if you guys can set your goals at the next meeting, it will help me kind of steer, and maybe we can even kind of set them admin and board goals as one big team. Is the idea and thought of moving it up 4 months.
Excellent.
So we have a budget committee, and in February of every year, we get our next year's numbers, which are based off of A and B, average number belonging, how many students we have. And so we have a committee that meets starting then, we meet as things go on. In June, you adopt a preliminary budget. In August, you adopt a final budget. So our meetings, we've been meeting, and numbers constantly changing. We just had some great news that we discovered for our budget yesterday. And
Oh, today.
what?
Oh, today.
Anyway.
By we, Sharon means she, so she's being very generous.
Well, I'll just read real quick. We found out the snow plowing that we've been doing at our agenda fund, because we have no buses and we do transportation, we can take that cost and split it for transportation. So it's freeing up for smart boards that we need because we had one die.
Yeah.
So anyway, numbers are changing. And so in June, I'll send out to the committee, here's what changes have been done, because it's really hard to get people together during camping season and everything, so I'll just send out a thing. And say, do you have any comments, questions, concerns? If there are none, then the final will go before the board in August.
Who is on the budget committee?
Usually we have 1 to 2 board members, we have staff members and community members. Anybody that wants to, that has input is welcome to be on it.
We will have to reset committees.
Yes, in August, on the agenda, we'll have, this is when we set our committees, and we have probably 7, 8 committees that trustees sign up for. You can't have more than 2 trustees on a committee because you have a quorum.
You have
So
to
you
announce
can-
public meeting.
And then, yeah, so we can have 1 to 2 on each.
But any other board members can attend, you just can't participate. So if you want to, like, I got done with some paperwork for Sharon once, and there was a budget meeting going on here. She needed the paperwork back. I came and sat in on the rest of the budget meeting, even though there was 2 other board members here. I just didn't say anything.
And it's helpful for budget, committee members, if you're on the budget, like I was on budget, that you're also on negotiations. Because you're dealing with the money side of the contracts.
Who
for the
who
teachers.
are you negotiating with them?
Teachers,
Oh, okay.
Yeah. staff. For salaries.
Any other budget updates? Principals report.
All right. I didn't realize I put myself in front of that till just now. Sorry about that. I just have a short one today, but then I've added some stuff in between. And I'm gonna call it my transition that I think that you guys will enjoy. But just an update, so successful acceptance of our mowing, asphalt and door bid. So I will get those scheduled as soon as possible. Mowing is already happening, but asphalt and doors have assured that they will still be able to get us on their schedules, even if it's not till the end of May when I let them know what we were doing. You did already approve an overhaul of all of the gutter system, and that has been scheduled. I don't have a date, but when his team is free, we're on the schedule. That is guaranteed to happen this summer. Our gym roof did get patched, so it is not leaking any longer. And so at this long range facility committee meeting that we still need to have before the end of the school year, things will come up. So we did get a bid. There's this new product that hasn't had a lot of testing, but it's more of like a sealer over all of it. I'm thinking of it kind of like a Line-X type material for the top of the gym roof, versus one that's double to replace the roof, but we have all those. But I would like those kinds of things to go before the committee to then bring a committee recommendation to the board. So let's see, I do also, so we did get a McKinstry bid. We've talked about it previous meetings, for the enclosure over there. And then I have been speaking with Morris and Merrily. Both of those will end up coming to the safety committee meeting and presenting the difference between the two that we can then bring to the board a full scope, and you can decide to go with one or the other. Or none of them. And we can just keep doing little by little. I hope it's clear, but I will not be able to be a construction manager of all this stuff. Like, put the thing next to the thing and all that won't work. So we will need to do something, but with the safety stuff taken care of, I don't know that it's as urgent as it has felt. So, that's the facility updates I just have for you now. We'll have a ton at the next one, so just gear up for that. And then our transition. So, these are things that, so upcoming events is the only other thing on the agenda, but these are current past events. A couple of them got talked about today. We did have the Flathead High School drama class came and presented the best classroom ever, a spoof off of the best Christmas pageant ever. 3 of our past Cougars were in it, so that was pretty neat. They did participate in Missoula Children's Theater. And we'll talk about Missoula Children's Theater at our next meeting, but we might be partnering with Flathead High School instead of Missoula Children's Theater to run a school play next year, which is pretty cool and exciting. Recently, well, Big Creek fifth grade went to Big Creek quite a while ago, but in the last month, since our last meeting, they've also gone on 2 other field trips, one to the Forestry Expo and to a tour of a mill. They loved that one. Our kinders went to Lone Pine, the top right. And then our title program hosts Fact Frenzy, so differentiated knowledge of your math facts, which helps with everything actually in math. And Miss Amy celebrated with those that had meet those benchmarks in that month of Fact Frenzy. So just a little party there. The delay is real.
Smartboard?
Fire. Okay, 4th grade. So 4th grade has Hooked on Fishing come 6 times in the school year. So they just did their second to last. which was, so 3 classroom visits, 3 outdoor fishing experiences where they actually did dissect a fish, talk about all the parts, and we have some fishing experts that come, and then lots of parent volunteers came for that one. This is a picture that was hot off the presses today that Miss Eli was talking about. So there are our 3 8th graders talking to our littles, and then you can see the pack right, whoa, right up here. They're actually getting ready to shoot their rocket off. So we just got some training. The little kids are loving it and getting them excited about being in middle school. And then these 8th grade boys, I just wanted to point out, weren't asked to come over either. So I was just going to take a picture of the littles watching the bigs, and then I don't know if they saw my phone with that like phone beacon the middle schoolers seem to have and like needed to be close, or I genuinely think that they saw interest and just wanted to come show them their rocket and tell them what they were doing. Which was pretty cool. 8th graders are at the very end and of their Kyla time, and to even care about littles was pretty heartwarming to me today. So I wanted to put that on there. Here's our 3 photos of our National History Day competition kiddos that were in Bozeman. That's what Mr. Conover was talking about. Pretty amazing that 4 of our kids are going to be able to go to nationals, or at least have the opportunity to. I think that's pretty special. Let's see, so it's 2 groups of 2 that actually made it. One group did a website, and then the ladies ended up doing like a reenactment play of a situation. So our 3rd graders went to the Central School Museum for a tour and a day in the life, and our 3rd grade also went to Lone Pine Park. So those Lone Pine visits include the where are those? The forestry people. What are they called?
Rangers.
The rangers, thank you. Upcoming things that are more field trippy. Miss Eli talked about the 7th and 8th grade girls going to the community college for the Power Your Learning. Kinder is going to a brand new STEM museum, which is going to be really awesome, and it's called Wildtorium. So that's up by the old Bojangles, the Rising Sun Cafe now. It's in
Sunrise
there.
Cafe.
Sunrise Cafe. Did I say Rising Sun?
Yeah.
Little CCRs might be. So they're going to that next week. 1st grade's going to Lake Mary Ronan. 4th grade is going on their actual fishing excursion the same day that we partnered our fish fry on. So hopefully it'll just be a full day of fishing. And the 8th graders are going to their rocket rally. And then 2 of the classrooms pooled their basket silent auction monies from the trip. And I have got Wild Wings, which is a bird rescue group, to come in and show the birds, and everybody loves that with some signs. So just a quick snapshot of what we have done. I think lots of times small schools get a bad rap for not providing experiences, but I think that we're just a little bit more crafty at finding grants and getting things done. Lots of experiences. Actual events. Sorry. There, that was faster. This Friday, Miss Counts talked about the talent show. Hope you guys can make it. This next one and the June 4th one are new. And this is something that was like on my big rocks, like hill to die on before I left last time. And then we've brought it back. So it's kind of exciting for me to get to finish a little dream of mine. I'm getting a little teary. But so on May 20th, the Flathead High School students are going to come back, and this is like a 2-hour whatever we want them to do with our kids at the school. So the principal at Flathead High School suggested maybe they meet with your 8th graders, and it's more of a transition meeting. For me, this is more of an opportunity for high school seniors to come in and talk to our 7th grade students about what they would have wished they could have known, and how important being the leaders of our school really is, and how it affects the rest of the kids. I think that will be way more powerful than the 8th graders to the 7th graders, and will help be a little proactive for next year. But it will also be a nice time. So they'll get to sit with our 7th graders and have a chat. They'll get to sit with our 8th graders and go over like what I wish I knew when I was a freshman. But hopefully all of this then we'll start tracking all of our 8th graders as they go to 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. And the big plan that Miss Payne and I have been working towards, this is baby steps, but like if a 10th grader is really struggling, potential dropout, myself and or Miss Barrett and or their most trusted adult at the school would actually just take some time and head to Flathead High School and have kind of an intervention, what's happening, maybe meet with the parents in the school as a whole team. So like once a cougar, always a cougar is going to continue till you graduate. This year's class is at like a 70% graduation rate from our school, which is not great. I want that at least in the 90s, which is above the national average. And I think that our partner district is creating avenues with Linderman, work-based learning, the PACE, and the Rising Wolf Academy, all of those things. There's not really a reason our kids shouldn't be graduating from high school right now. So hopefully some past adults that have loved them and can provide some extra motivation will help with all that. But then I'm going to skip down to June 4th. So I just stick on this Flathead High School thing because I'm pretty excited about it. If you walk this way on your way out, going up the ramp by 4th grade is the You Matter wall. So that was our school's response to the suicide clusters that were happening, I think in 2021. And nope, it was 2019. So then during COVID shutdown, that was something that I had one of the paras paint. And then when we came back, every kid put their handprint on the wall. And now just new students and incoming kinders put their handprints on the wall and they sign it. This will be the first class that has their handprint on the wall that is graduating. And this is the one. So they're going to, we bought little graduation hat stickers that are Flathead colors. So they're going to come back through, put their sticker on their wall next to their handprint. We'll get a little photo. And then on June 4th, they're going to come do a graduation walk that all of the other Kalispell schools have gotten to do, and our Kyla school hasn't had the opportunity. So they're going to come with their caps and gowns, and all of our kids will be in the hall giving them high fives and celebrating them. So yeah, okay, getting back to dry eyes. If you could come on the 21st, it will be our first ever fish fry student showcase. This is part of that partnership though for next year, so it should turn into like a what you could do with your future is the idea. Student showcase might be super productive and everyone loves it and we'll just keep it the same, but it's sort of like a Thursday Fest vibe with appropriate beverages. So come with your cooler and there's gonna be live music, and I hope you all can come. Just a time for people to have no real agenda and just spend time with each other is something I've heard that we're missing and we could fill a hole. So just let people be people and meet new friends, and I don't know, we'll see what happens. May 22nd, we don't have school. Students don't have school, but teachers have school. So that is the morning that all of our certified staff are going to go visit someone from another school that I have either helped them collaborate on if I've seen something, or have talked to another administrator and something they want to learn about, or they've seen like Doris Mountain last year and want to do like, oh, I'd love to watch you do what you're talking about in this PD, not just hear you talk about it and get a flyer. Let's go see, create some collaboration across districts. And then we'll come back, have a potluck, talk about what we saw, and then really dig into next year's schedule. So with full, we're going to call them professional learning days off. They have to be really planned. I also can't stop people from taking those days off unless it's more than one and on a continued basis, but they're going to decide what we're going to do at those meetings. So hopefully it will help them want to be there rather than take a personal day on those professional learning days. Our 8th grade history trip was well represented tonight, so I don't think I need to talk about that. Same with our track and field day. Really our first dabbling though of our 7th graders being the leaders of this school. So they don't actually participate. Their participation is helping the littles go around successfully to their events and tracking how they're doing. Being a good role model is probably the biggest part, and just getting the kids excited about being here and continuing to participate for the whole day is tricky. We also have their first real fundraising with concessions and traveling carts for concessions. So track and field day is pretty special. Do either of you ladies want to chat about track and field day anymore?
Well, I mean, the only question I had I have a question. We're having that coffee truck back? Okay, great.
Yeah.
No, track and field day is a really big day. It's really busy. There's no parking and it's a lot of fun. And so we'll just like alert community too, to be aware that we have hundreds of kids here. There's 3 other schools that come and they bring their 1st through 6th grade as well. And we've been having quite successful track and field days since we took over. So.
And it ends with the fire, Smith Valley Fire Department will come and close us all down. It's pretty fun.
Last year we were in the paper, so that was pretty cool.
That is awesome.
I'll try to get some press here for it because it is a big day. So.
And then the plan, we've ordered an extra porta potty this year, so some oddities with the do I need a background check or not, since they will be on our campus, and the messaging will be that you are using the restroom outside. So really no adults that are not our staff members or other school staff members are going to be in our buildings. And just single stall areas to alleviate all of that. Our 8th grade graduation is also coming up on June 8th, so I hope that you guys can come to that. It's a nice celebration. The 8th graders have started doing a little party afterwards as well in the gym, and the parents are getting really excited about all that. June 9th is our last day of school, so I smushed it so I could fit it all on one slide, but Early Out is already on all of the events for the last day of school. It's kind of weird. That's all I had. If you guys have any questions for me. Oh,
I'm like, I knew you, I figured.
that's why my you're standing.
I was waiting. Hold it so you explain it?
No.
Or you want me to hold the side so they can see it?
So it was also Teacher Appreciation Week last week. And if you get any questions about why the principal kicked out all the other adults and had a super secret conversation with kids, it's because they were doing this. I encourage them to go chat with their parents about what was said, but some interesting translations have come back from that. Our teachers and staff felt a lot of love last week. And so all of these are gonna get cut out. Teachers can keep them, but our PTA also really spoiled that for us. So I wanted to give a shout out there. It's all right. And then Tika, did you want to share yours?
Oh, I
as
forgot
part
to
of
share this during our little thing, but I put the student leadership team into this little competition, and basically for 2 months we had to track their activities, what they did during the day, exercise, and then the food and fruits and vegetable intake. And we actually were drawn as a winner for $500. So I'm supposed to buy PE equipment with this.
Excellent.
It can be expensive. I just got this in the mail today. It's like, yay. So I'll take a picture of them and I'll put it on JoJo. or our Facebook, whatever.
Both.
So it's great. It's great.
I just want to wrap up with, we do really have an incredible staff. One of our board goals and one of my personal goals was to get back to a place where I think people were feeling like they wanted to come to work, build some culture. And I genuinely can walk down the hall and say that I think that we made some really positive growth this year, and feels pretty normally. So just thank you guys for supporting us as well, and letting us do our thing is really nice too.
Awesome. All right, we need to set a meeting for June, July.
So June, we try and set it as late as possible because we're ending our fiscal year. We can get all of our bills paid, things like that. So, as late as possible, Liz and I were talking, if the 24th would work for everybody.
That's a Wednesday.
And because we don't have school, we could actually do it early in the day if it would work for you guys, like 1 o'clock.
Anybody have a problem with June 24th?
I don't know that.
Any day or time is the same for me.
Yeah, same for me as well, so.
I can commit for now. I don't know if I have a standing meeting at noon. On Wednesdays.
I have to check with the boss.
Okay, well, we'll tentatively put that in there.
Okay.
And then July, we typically do not, so in June, I will send out, so I don't get any late fees, 2 sets of claims. And so I'll send one out, just so you're aware, and then at the end of June, at our meeting, we'll have the second set. July, we usually do not have a board meeting, but I'll still do claims and get those out. And then the August meeting, we can talk about in June.
Great. Okay, so we're tentatively set for June 24th at 1.
And you will send out an email reminding us, right?
Absolutely. And then your email should be active today. So for now on, all of your correspondences, everything should go to your school email.
Okay.
So, and Liz has all that, how to set it up, and she's the techie person, so.
If we exchange numbers, I can send you reminders too.
Also, if you just go to the Kyla School website, just on the homepage, there's the full calendars of things. So that our committee meetings are on that calendar too. So all the avenues.
All right. I think that's all the business we had for today, so I will take a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I will make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second. All in favor? Anyone opposed? You want to stay here longer? All right.